So we're seeing a lot of straddles in this meetup game, and in this hand I have the $10 straddle on, and the player on my left puts out a $20 straddle. So in this hand we are playing 3, 5, 10, 20. Action folds over to the player in the $5 blind. He calls the $20. We look down at 4 deuce off suit in the $10 blind. Obviously a terrible hand, but we're gonna see if we can sneak in here for the 10 additional dollars. And the player in the $20 blind checks. So we're off to a flop 3 ways. The flop comes down ace, 6, 5 with 2 diamonds, and after the player on my right checks, less likely that the player on my left would have an ace, otherwise he might raise it. I'm gonna go ahead and bet it here with this terrible hand and this gut shot. I bet $25, player on my left calls, and the player on my right calls. Pretty unsuccessful attempt by us, but things are looking up on the turn when it comes in offsuit 3. Player on my right checks. This time I ratcheted it up to $85. The player on my left disagrees with that price. He raises it up. He makes it an additional $200 on top, $285 total. Player on my right folds. Obviously we have to be a little bit worried here as there is one open-ender that got there, 7-4. But of course we're never gonna fold here to this single raise. We have ourselves a straight, not gonna go anywhere at this point. I make the call and we're off to a river card, which is another 4. So now there's 4 to a straight on the board. I go ahead and check it and my opponent bets $300. Now it's a little bit sketchy of a situation because there are some hands on the turn that my opponent could have been raising for value that we beat. Hands like a set or 2 pair. There's also some combo draws that could have improved on this river that got there, that we were ahead of on the turn as well. So with 4 to a straight on the board, there's a lot of those hands that we were beating that he could have been raising for value, such as sets and 2 pairs, that he would be skeptical of betting on the river. I'm not sure it's that great of a spot, but do we really want to fold a straight here? And how often could he have a hand other than, say, a hand like 7-4? I asked him if he happens to have 7-4. I announced that hand out loud, and he says he does not have 7-4, but he does have a good hand.
You just always have 7-4 here, right?
I'll be back. That's not a good sign. That's usually not a good sign when someone says that they don't have the hand that you announce. It's usually like, nope, I don't have that hand, but I do have a hand that probably has you beat.
What'd you make, 8s full?
I don't have a full house. And I don't have trips.
So after a lot of deliberation on my part, you guys know I hate folding rivers, especially when I have a hand as good as a straight. I decided to let it go. Do not pay off the $300. Turns out to be a good decision because my opponent shows us 9-7 of diamonds. So he did have himself a combo draw. He had the flush draw on the flop, turned himself a double gutter, lots of equity there, and that equity comes through. We end up with the worst hand on the river. We put money in when we were ahead on the turn. We were definitely not ahead on the flop with the 4 high. But anyway, made a good fold there on the river. Good hand to you, sir.